Hi everyone, Stacy here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So today we're going to cover off the Venus retrograde cycle and what that could mean for each and every one of us. Now, before I dive into all 12 signs, I just want to take this quick opportunity to thank everyone for liking and sharing out my content and for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you for doing so, and I'm sending the love back to you tenfold. So thank you so much for the support. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy and grateful that you found your way to me, either by stumbling across one of my videos or across my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for being here with me today. Now, keep in mind, these are general readings. I cannot stress that enough in each and every one of my videos. Keep in mind, I do not have your personal birth chart sitting in front of me. Now, always, as I always say, take what resonates and leave the rest. And I do use a whole sign house system in all of my videos here on YouTube land. I also use Western tropical astrology as well. So again, take what resonates, leave the rest. If you'd like to watch for your rising sign, that would probably be the one that resonates with you the most. If you don't know your rising sign, that's okay. You can certainly watch for your sun sign as well, and any other planet placement or point that resonates with you the most. Now, if you'd like a personal reading tailored to you, for you, all about you, you can get in touch with me on my website, and I'll be sure to put the link to that in the description box below. So I'm just going to dive into a few details about who and what Venus is exactly. So Venus takes approximately 1 year to go around the entire zodiac. She spends approximately 4 weeks in each and every sign, and she does go retrograde every 18 months or so. Now, Venus is our love language. I heard that recently on a television show, and I sort of chuckled to myself. I said, well, yeah. Our love language is where our natal Venus lies in the birth chart. So if you know your birth chart, check that out, and it'll give you kind of more information on how you express love and what it is that you do love. So speaking of that, Venus is all about how we show love and appreciation and affection to other people, places, or things. And it's also how we receive love as well. Venus is all about how and what we naturally love and what you find attractive, again, in people, places, and things, and also our value system. She rules as well. So Venus also rules money, attraction, love, relationships, harmony, beauty, music, art, creativity, and she is a yin energy. So she is a receptive energy. Again, how we receive this energy, or love, or harmony, or beauty for that matter. Now, let's dive into some dates here, because this transit is going to take us about a 3.5 month span, because I always include the shadow periods. So January 28th is when she starts her shadow period. This is actually when she starts slowing down, and also the degree point where she comes back to. So 24 degrees of Pisces is when the start of the shadow period begins. And March the 1st is when she officially stations retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries. And then she'll station direct again at that 24 degree mark of Pisces. And then she'll fully come out of shadow period beyond that 10 degree of Aries mark, middle of May. Now, what's really cool about the Venus retrograde is that she returns to the same zodiac sign, or signs in this case, every 8 years, which is really cool. You can almost clock this like bang on, where the other retrogrades, you can't really do this. I mean, I think Mercury retrograde comes pretty close sometimes. But anyway, the last time Venus was retrograde, in particular in Pisces and Aries, was March to April of 2017. Again, stretch this out an extra couple months to cover off the shadow periods. So if you want to think back to that time, some similar themes could be coming back around this time. Now, I'm not saying, you know, if something horrible happened to you back then, I have a sneaking suspicion. I'm not sure if it was because of Venus, because all the planets some of the heavy hitters in the sky would have been in different territory back in 2017, for example. But similar themes again with regards to love and money and beauty and harmony and relationships, and where Venus rules in your particular birth chart could be coming back around for some introspection. If you want to geek out like I did, it's on the slide here. Just keep going back 8 years to kind of give you a flavor of this similar retrograde throughout Pisces and Aries, those areas of life in your birth chart. So 2009, 2001, 93, 85, 77, 69, 61. If you want to keep going backwards, just keep subtracting 8 years from these time frames. Now, if you want to go ahead in the future, the next Venus retrograde cycle, in particular, I'm just talking about Pisces and Aries, is 2033. And again, this is happening pretty darn close, 8 degrees of Aries to 22 degrees of Pisces. So you can kind of see, you know, she sticks to almost exact same degree points in the sky, which to me, again, is pretty fascinating when it comes to these planets that surround the sun. So let's see here. Yes, and we're also going to talk about Libra and Taurus, because we all have Libra and Taurus somewhere in our birth chart. So this means these houses, these areas of life are also going to be activated. So I'm definitely going to talk about that as well. And this is also happening, just to add in another layer here, this is also happening in Pisces and Aries. So what does that mean? Venus loves being in Pisces. You know, she's been here all throughout the month of January. She was kind of choked up the last couple months being in Capricorn and Aquarius, because those houses are ruled by Saturn. So she can't fully express herself in those areas of life. But when it comes to Pisces, it's going to be full on. It's going to be almost like to the extreme opposite of how she was when she was transiting Capricorn and Aquarius for the months of November and December. So I call it it's called she's exalted in this area of life. So Pisces rules creative outlets or projects, dreamland, dream world, the arts, music, poetry, compassion, spirituality. It's our intuition as well. Emotions could be quite raw during this transit. I do want to be honest about that, especially since we have Mars that backed into Cancer for his retrograde. Another personal planet retrograde in a water sign can be very emotional. So I just want to be honest and upfront about that. We're going to talk about that as well. And escapism is going to be full on, because again, this is the area of Pisces, and she's fully indulging herself. She's fully bringing forward all those pleasures that she wants to bring forward in this area of life. Plus, she's going to come together with Neptune, which I call the rock star energy, that's going to just amp up this intensification of these escapism tendencies, which we'll talk about that as well. Now, Aries energy, on the other hand, she is in detriment in Aries. So that means she's across the street from her homeland of Libra. Libra and Aries are opposing one another. So when she's in her opposite sign, she can't fully express herself. And sometimes when she tries too hard to express herself in Aries, it kind of comes out sideways. And I'll get to some examples in the next slide here, so just bear with me. So Aries energy, what does Aries energy represent? He is the ultimate entrepreneur type of energy. He is about spontaneity, impulsiveness, direct, blunt type of energy, going after what it is that we want. He is the warrior energy. He is all about action. He doesn't like standing still. He doesn't like thinking about things. He just wants to dive in. Wherever we have Aries in our birth chart, that area of life, we just dive in full force. We just don't think, we just boom. We're just in there, which is not a bad thing. I mean, again, without Aries or that Mars energy, I think we would all be couch potatoes, to be honest. So it's not a bad energy, but what I'm trying to express is that you can kind of get the feel of Pisces energy versus Aries energy. So keep that in mind during this retrograde, because these are the types of energies that she's going to be going back over old ground. Okay. Now let's dive into some kind of like do's and don'ts, or some things to watch out for. Again, this is not an exhaustive list, you guys. So this isn't the Bible. This isn't the end all be all. These are just some things to me that stand out the most about the areas of life that Venus rules. So things to do during a Venus retrograde: anything that starts with an R and an E, a re. And this goes for all retrogrades, by the way, especially personal planet retrogrades. So Mercury, Mars, Venus retrogrades, anything to do with a re. Reflection, reassessments, revisions, reconsidering things on multiple levels, taking it slow, taking it easy, taking a break when Venus is retrograde, going back to old creative projects or endeavors, or anything that lights you up. Go back to the old versus starting something brand new. I get it. The world doesn't stop turning. If you have to do a launch, if you have to do big things during Venus retrograde, that is totally fine. Do the best you can do, and just know probably May, June timeframe, you might have to go back over these areas of life and reassess something or tweak something, for example. Also, Venus retrograde, pamper yourself. Like I mentioned, take care of yourself, take care of the physical body. Stick to what you know though, and I'll get into that in a second, versus again, trying out new exercise routines or diet routines or whatever the case may be. Excellent time to reconnect with loved ones or people from your past. Reconnecting or mending those relationships, especially people that you haven't seen in a long time, or you know, you're on a rough patch with somebody. And again, this could be anybody: family, friends, loves, whatever the case may be. Reconnecting with them. People are usually more open with Venus retrograde, so we're more open to giving people second chances and kind of hearing them out and reassessing those emotions and those emotional bonds that you have with that other person. So really nice energy for that. Venus rules money. So reassessing your budget, your finances, your expenses. Where is your money going? How is it coming into you or flowing into you? All those good things are really nice for reassessments at this time. Also reflecting on past relationships. You know, what did you learn? What were the lessons? What were the patterns? Do you notice any patterns in your past relationships? What is the emotional bond or connection there? Are you still carrying baggage from your last relationship? Is that holding you back from fully loving or expressing yourself in a new relationship, for example? So really good time to work with a counselor, a therapist, a healer. When Venus specifically backs into Pisces, I feel like some of this stuff could be bubbling to the surface. Plus, again, we kind of have a double whammy here with Mars backing into Cancer, another water sign that could be bringing these emotions up to the surface as well. So just something to keep in mind. It's being brought up for a reason. I don't recommend to shove it back down into the subconscious mind. It is being brought up to be acknowledged, to be healed, and to be ultimately let go of. And I know that's easier said than done, but again, work with somebody you trust, or find somebody, a health or medical practitioner or a healer, to help you work through these energies at this time. Now, just some things to watch out for. Again, not an exhaustive list. These are just some of the commonalities that, well, I should say are pretty common during a Venus retrograde that usually come up. So again, because she's backing into Venus and Aries, quite different energies of how we express ourselves, sometimes that can come out sideways. So just be mindful of like arguments and debates, and also watch how you're talking to yourself. Make sure it's positive and it's not negative self-talk, because you could go in a downward spiral with this retrograde. So you want to nip it in the bud. You want to catch yourself if anyone is talking poorly to your face, or if you're talking poorly to yourself, make sure you nip it in the bud before it gets just to be too much and it's just consuming your life. So just be mindful of that. Breakups that happen during Mars or Venus retrograde usually don't stay broken up. But again, everybody's different. Everybody's circumstances are different, and these energies are hitting everybody differently. So I'm just going to throw it out there. They usually don't last. They usually get back together, especially May, June timeframe. Now, new relationships that you enter into, and I'm talking about not existing relationships, I'm talking about brand spanking new ones. So if you meet somebody new in February, March, or April, just know the relationship or the person might look quite different once Venus and Mars, for that matter, come out of their shadow periods. So give it till the middle of 2025 to really make those plans or next steps, however you want to take this relationship to the next level. And of course, Venus rules beauty and aesthetics and makeup and all that beautiful stuff. So I would heed caution if you're going under the knife, or if you want to do Botox or fillers or completely change your identity or your appearance. I would caution against that. I would wait. Personally, I would wait until the middle of 2025. But I get it. If you have things scheduled, it is what it is. It's just that sometimes these cosmetic permanent procedures come out sideways. They look different. They're not as anticipated, or they're not as expected, or you regret something, right? Same with tattoos, you know, or permanent makeup or anything like that. Just reconsider it. I'm talking about new procedures, not old procedures. Like if you every 6 months religiously go for Botox injections, you know, shouldn't be a problem. But again, I would still heed the caution because again, a retrograde energy is a retrograde energy. And we have two, you guys, back to back here with Mars and Venus retrograde. So again, I'm not here to harp. I'm just here to warn. Big ticket items, big ticket purchases. Watch out for them as well. Like, do you really need that $1.1 million sports car sitting in your garage? I don't know. Maybe some of you absolutely need that, you know, and that's totally fine. I'm not here to judge. But again, once May, June comes along, you might regret it. You might be like, what the hell was I thinking? And then you might lose a lot of money trying to sell it, right? Same with property, real estate, those luxury items, okay? Like luxury clothes, wardrobes, purses, boots, shoes, whatever. You know, pick your poison. Okay, I'm not talking about going to the store and just getting a new coat or a new sweater, even though I think you'll spend more money doing that. But regardless, just not the best time to do a complete overhaul with your wardrobe, or again, buying, selling property, like big ticket items. Not the best time to do it. And again, unless you absolutely have to, okay? The world doesn't stop spinning with these retrogrades. So again, you do you, okay? These are just kind of a heads up type of energy. Also legal matters. Venus rules Libra, which is the flavor of the 7th house. So anything to do with marriage, contractual agreements, or again, legal battles, I would caution against those. Now, if you have a wedding planned, I'm not talking about those. It's more so those last minute things, like last minute eloping, or last minute getting married, or last minute suing somebody, or whatever the case may be. It just might not turn out the way you expected. I'm not saying it's a horrible thing and your life is going to end. It's just they come out sideways. The outcome is never what you expect it to be during a retrograde. And again, we have dual retrogrades here. So I know I keep bringing that up, but I mean, it's true. Mars is also retrograde in the sky too. So, and these are personal planets. Mercury, Venus, and Mars retrogrades impact us greater than the bigger planets like Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto retrograde, because those are larger, more so social, society, collective planets. The personal planets are us, like they represent us quite literally. So anyway, just something to keep in mind. And then a famous one, love coming back from the past. Venus going retrograde, Venus rules relationships, love coming back from the past. But this could also be relatives coming back from the past, friends coming back from the past. We'll dive into all 12 signs really, really soon here. But anyway, I hope this kind of explains and gives you a little bit more information about Venus and what she means. Also, stay open to last minute magic and last minute opportunities. Sometimes these retrogrades can bring back opportunities from the past as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well. All right, let's dive into all 12 signs. Hey Aries, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and what areas of life she will be activating at this or during this transit. So she will be going back and forth in your first house and your 12th house, but she also rules your second and 7th houses as well, Aries. So let's break this down. So let's start with the area of Pisces in your 12th house. So she's actually been here since January the 2nd. Now this is a quieter transit. Some of you will notice this and some of you won't. This is the area of life where I think she could be bringing up the past. You know, past psychological stuff, like things that were hidden, things that we pushed down. The 12th house represents anything that's hidden or secrets or skeletons in the closet. So when we have a planet going back and forth in this area of life, it sometimes can bring things to the surface. And the reason why, or at least into our conscious, and the reason why, or conscious mind, I should say. So the reason why these planets do this, in particular Venus, is so we can acknowledge them, heal them, and let them go once and for all. Because sometimes when these energies get pent up in our bodies, again, especially in the 12th house, psychosomatic illnesses can come on. So this is illnesses that we actually create in the body. And yes, there is such a thing as this because I have a 12th house stellium. So this is actually something that I know true that's close to my heart, because a lot of things can manifest in the 12th house out of nowhere, or what seems to be out of nowhere, but it's actually us manifesting these things behind closed doors, so to speak. So Aries, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. It's just the 12th house is very hidden, and sometimes it's difficult to explain exactly what could manifest with this retrograde. Now, where this comes personal to you is if you have any planets, placements, points at the late degrees of Pisces in particular, where she is going to be going back and forth in this area of life. 12th house is also about spirituality and awakenings and dreams and solitude and taking a break. This is about taking care of the health and well-being of not only your physical body, but your mental health as well. Not the best time to keep pushing things down. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, really good time to work with a healer, a counselor, a therapist, whoever it is, to help you move these emotions out of your body. You can do it by exercise, you know, sweating it out. Again, healing modalities, whatever works for you, Aries. Just don't go too hard, too fast, because that can kind of put the body into shock. But just take it slow and easy. And like I said, do what works best for you and go from there. 12th house is also about endings, letting go, and putting an emphasis on that. Also, it'll bring up things like where is your love being spent, where is your money being spent, where is your resources being spent, and where is your time being spent. Sometimes she can kick up the dust with thoughts like these as well. Now, when she's moving through your first house, so if you have anything around 0 to 10 degrees, Aries, this is going to impact you personally, where she's going to be going back and forth in this area of life. So the first house is all about you. It's your identity. It's your physical appearance. It's also the health of the body. So actually you're getting both hits here. You're getting the health and well-being of the physical body, and also on the mind, soul, and psyche connection as well. First house is also about major life cycles. So it could impact all areas of life. This could bleed out into your career, into your relationships, and into your home, family foundation life as well, Aries. And what's happening is you're trying, you know, again, she's trying to help you reassess something in your life that is no longer working, or again, trying to bring up something to your attention so you can address it. Now, if you have, like I said, anything between 0 and 10, say it's your sun, this will be about your career or your health and vitality. If it's your moon sign, this is about your home, place of living, your family situation, possibly mom, dad, authority figures in your life with the sun and the moon being activated there. And again, if it's your rising sign, this could impact your relationships, or again, bring up something to your attention to address in your relationships or how you relate to people one-on-one. And also, again, your identity. So what I covered off in the first part, do you want to change your appearance? Do you want to go under the knife? Do you want to get some surgeries done? Do you want to dress differently? Do something with your hair? Things like that could be coming up for some introspection as well, Aries. Okay, so those are the 2 areas of life she's activating. And I know that's a lot. I'm not saying all of that's going to happen, Aries. It's just that, again, general reading, take what resonates, leave the rest. And I'm just trying to give you some examples of what could be coming down the pipe for each and every one of you. Now, as I mentioned, she's also going to activate 2 other areas of life, possibly. I hit on most of them. So again, your 7th house of Libra is ruled by Venus as well. So this is, again, all about relationships, how you relate one-on-one to people. This is also about marriage, contracts, agreements, negotiations as well, Aries. So that could be up for some introspection. Or the 2nd house, so work, whatever it is that you do on a day-to-day basis, your skills, your talents, your abilities, your gifts. This is also about material possessions, things that you own, things that you want to buy or possess, for example. And this is also how money flows to you. So if you're not working, how do you contribute to society? How do you pay your taxes? How do you pay the gas to run around town? How do you pay to have food on the table? Like, who pays you? Is it a pension? Is it alimony? Is it the government? Is it whatever it is? This is also the 2nd house that could be up for some introspection at this time. Also a really good time to reassess your finances as well, Aries. Okay, so I think that covers all of the 4 houses, Aries. And again, keep in mind, if you have anything 0 to 10 degrees, Venus at the end of the day is a blessing. She brings in love and beauty and harmony, and also Venus in the 1st house, she's the great attractor. So you'll also look very attractive to other people at this time. Definitely, if you're single, you could definitely find and date somebody new. But again, as I mentioned at the beginning part of the video, take it slow. That would be my recommendation. Don't go off and elope and get married, because things might look quite different when it comes to May, June timeframe. So I'm just going to put it out there, not trying to be a Debbie Downer. It is what it is. But yeah, if you're looking to attract in even work, because Venus rules one of your work houses. So again, a good time to attract in a new job or a new career or a new way of earning money. But again, go slow. If anything comes around back from the past, that's usually a good thing. But again, you don't need to move fast. You don't need to accelerate at all unless you have to. Because again, a new job, a new contract, a new offer might look a little bit different come May and June. Not the end of the world. It just means you might have to go back over old ground to clarify something with your employer or client or whatever the case may be. All right, Aries, enjoy this Venus retrograde, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey, Taurus, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and what areas of life that she could be activating for you over the next 3.5 months or so. So she is going to be going back and forth in your 11th house and 12th house. So we'll talk about that. But she also rules your 1st house and your 6th house. So this is your ruling planet, Taurus. If any other sign is going to feel this retrograde the most, it probably will be you and Libra, because you both are ruled by this Venus, Venus herself, but I mean the Venus retrograde, you'll both feel this a little bit more. And I'm not saying it's going to be a bad thing. It's from an energy standpoint is what I'm talking about. Okay, let's start with that 11th house. Venus has been here since January the 2nd, lighting up this 11th house. And on top of it, Pisces makes a nice aspect to your planets, placements, points, Taurus. So opportunities should be coming in for you from this 11th house, and possibly opportunities coming back around from the past, especially once April comes back around. So what is the 11th house? All about older siblings. So this could be benefits coming in from an older sibling, or an older sibling becomes in the spotlight in some way, shape, or form, or opportunities coming in for an older sibling as well. 11th house is also your friends, your groups, your membership circles, also your role in these groups as well. That could be up for some introspection during this time. 11th house is all about internet, social media, putting yourself out there, Taurus. So you could be reassessing how you use social media during this retrograde as well. 11th house is hopes, wishes, dreams, long-term commitments, and goals for the future. It is the house of the future. So any sort of goals or planning that you have for the future, again, Venus might be asking you to relook at something or double check something in this area of life. And this is also the house that, Taurus, lights you up from the inside out. It is a really nice house. The 11th house, 5th house is such a nice axis. It's my favorite part of the entire zodiac wheel. So it's what lifts us up on a spiritual level, mundane level. And again, do the people around you, do they lift you up, or did they bring you down, Taurus? So maybe some things that might be coming back around for some introspection over the next few months. Now, when she pops into Aries, which is your 12th hidden house, this is definitely a quieter transit for you, Taurus. Some of you will feel this more than others. Again, this is where it comes down to your personal birth chart. So the 12th house is hidden. It's all about secrets. It's all about preparing for a brand new cycle. The focus is more so on endings and letting go versus starting something brand spanking new, because we can't start anything new unless we let something go. So that's part of the purpose of our 12th house in all of our charts. So this could also be, Venus could be bringing things up to the surface on, well, I should say in your conscious mind, on purpose for you to acknowledge it, to heal it, and to let it go, Taurus. So for you, this could be a very psychological transit, and you could just be thinking, well, where did that thought come from? Again, pluck it out of your brain, and let it go. And if that, I know that sounds easy, but this is the time to work with a counselor, a healer, a mentor, a coach, whoever you trust, to get this energy out of your body. You're actually lucky to have Aries as a 12th house, because you can sweat this energy out, get a hot stone massage, get a massage, like somehow move this energy, exercise this energy out of your body. Just take it easy, Taurus. Don't go too hard, too fast, because with Mars and Venus retrograde, you could also hurt yourself too by going too hard, too fast with physical exercises. So just, go slow. This is also the house of your hidden gifts, talents, and abilities, Taurus. So this could be, again, another hint or another synchronistic moment from the universe, this nudging you to your divine purpose or your divine plan, or trying to nudge you back onto a new plan, whatever the case may be. So those are the two areas of life that she's going to be going back and forth. And just remember, your 11th house, when she backs into Pisces again, this should be bringing in opportunities from the past. So maybe opportunities that you passed by in the month of January might come back around in April 2025, for example. This isn't going to apply to all of you, but at the end of the day, she's still making opportunity aspects to your planets, placements, points. Specifically, if you have anything in Taurus around 24 to 29 degrees, so if it's your sun sign, it's something to do with your career or father or bosses or authority figures in your life. If it's your moon, this is about the home, family, foundation, place of living. If it's your rising sign, this is your identity. I mean, she does rule your first house, so I have no doubt that something to do with the identity may be coming up at this time as well. And speaking of that, let's get to the houses that she rules. So yes, your first house of your physical appearance, how you walk into this world, how you're seen in this world, what you're known for. It doesn't always have to be about career, because even if you're not working, how do you contribute to society? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind, Taurus? So again, I hope you watched the beginning part of my video about the do's and kind of the don'ts. This would be a big one for you, Taurus. Not the best time to go under the knife, not the best time to take on brand new cosmetic procedures or brand new tattoos or piercings or anything like that. If you can put it on the back burner, that would be the best. And if you can't, that's totally fine as well. We can't stop our lives around these retrogrades. All we can do is do our best to prepare for them and just deal with them when the time comes. At the end of the day, this is Venus. This is not Pluto. This is not Saturn. This is not Uranus or Neptune or you know, any of the bigger planets that pack a punch. Those are a little bit more drastic at times or life-changing versus these personal planets. So, and she also rules your 6th house. So again, adding in that additional layer of health and well-being, and also work, whatever you do on a day-to-day basis from a work, or how are you of service, Taurus? So again, if you're not working, how do you contribute to society? Do you walk dogs? Do you watch the grandkids? Do you babysit? Do you clean homes? Do you paint houses? Like, what do you do on a day-to-day? That could be up for some revision or review at this time. Diet, health, nutrition, exercise could be up for some change as well. Again, I wouldn't take on crazy drastic health dietary changes because they might look quite different in May or June timeframe. Go back to what worked for you in the past, Taurus. That sort of highlighted better during this transit versus taking on something brand new. Now, it doesn't mean you can't. Again, we all have free will. It's just that, again, once she goes direct in the sky, things might look a little bit different for you. But again, not life-shattering, okay? Your day-to-day might change. Your day-to-day might be up for some introspection as well. Maybe it's time, Taurus, to squeeze in some me time, some benefit time for yourself, for example, or downtime if you can, Taurus. All right, otherwise, enjoy the Venus retrograde, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Gemini, let's take a look at this Venus retrograde and see what areas of life are going to be activated for you during this 3.5-month transit. So she's going to be back and forth in your 10th house and 11th house. So I'll get to that in a minute. She also rules your hidden 12th house and also your 5th house as well. So multiple areas of life could be impacted by this, Gemini. So let's break this down. Let's start with your 10th house because she's been here since January the 2nd. So 10th house is all about you as a parent, if you are a parent, mom, dad, authority figures in your life. So this could be the government, this could be bosses or police or legal matters as well. 10th house is also about your career, your status, and your public reputation. It's a very public house. So with Venus going back and forth in this area of life, Gemini, she's asking you to reassess something in this area of life. Now, if you know your birth chart, if you don't, no worries. But if you do know your birth chart, 24 to 29 degrees in particular of Gemini, she's going to be making an aspect to these points, planets, whatever you have in these degrees of Gemini. She's going to be asking you to take some sort of action or change in this area of life. So if it's your sun sign, it's probably linked to your career or your dad or male figures in your life or authority figures in your life. If it's your moon, this is about your home life, home, family, foundation, or mother figures in your life or female figures in your life. If it's your rising sign, this is about you. This is your identity, or could be about your identity, how you present yourself to the world. It could also be something to do with your health and well-being as well, Gemini. I'm not trying to doom and gloom this. Those are just simple examples. And again, apply this to your birth chart or to your circumstances. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Now, when she hops into your 11th house, this is actually really nice energy for you, Gemini, because she's pouring in opportunities from this 11th house. So older siblings, this could be opportunities coming in from older siblings if you have any, or benefits coming into your older siblings' lives, or something about them, maybe reassessing your relationship with them, mending a relationship with them, or again, they're going to be in the spotlight in some way, shape, or form. If you haven't heard from a sibling in a long time, you know, Venus retrograde in this area of life, you could hear from this person that you haven't spoken to in many, many, many years. Same goes with friendship circles, friends, groups, people you hang out with, people that you surround yourself with. People that you haven't spoken to in a long time could come back around. Really nice energy to reconnect with people that you have not seen or connected with in a really long time. Also, mending relationships. This is a really nice time to mend friendships or colleagues or whatever the case may be. Mending those relationships. People are more receptive under a Venus retrograde on both sides, so you and them. 11th house is also your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your long-term commitments and goals. So again, those might be up for some change or introspection at this time. It doesn't mean you need to take drastic action in this area of life. It's coming up for a reason. Anything that bubbles up to the surface at this time is being asked to at least look at it, think about it, acknowledge it, you know, and go from there. 11th house is also social media, Gemini. So you could be reassessing how you use social media and maybe even the platforms that you use. If you have a website or anything like that, you could be actually really good time to reassess your website. If you do have a website, excellent time to tweak it. Maybe look at your pricing structure, things like that. Again, you don't have to do a big overhaul unless you have to, but definitely a good time to re-look at again, anything to do with money or earnings or technology or your internet or social media pages. Okay, and this is also the house that lifts you up too. So if there's anything that does not lift you up, or if there's a certain group of people or friend that does not support you or lift you up, that could be coming up during this time to be, again, looked at, reassessed, and then go from there. Now, similar to what I mentioned before about Pisces. Now, if you have anything around 0 to 10 degrees of Gemini, Venus is going to be pouring in extra opportunity here into this area of life. Again, if it's your sun sign, it's your career. If it's your moon sign, it could be something to do with home, family, foundation, place of living. And if it's your rising sign, it could be something to do with your health, your identity, how you're known, how you carry yourself into the world. It's you, it's your vitality. Or it could also be something to do with mom, dad, authority figures in your life as well, Gemini. Regardless, all of you are going to be feeling this energy at some point because she'll eventually cruise through Aries when she goes direct middle of April and onwards. I think May she pops back into Aries, so you will be you'll be feeling this energy at some point depending on your chart, of course. Okay, now she also rules your hidden 12th house. I kind of touched on this a little bit, things bubbling up from the surface. That's a 12th house thing. Anything that is unconscious or in the subconscious could be brought up to your attention during this time. And it might be out of the blue. So it might be Venus. It might be Uranus though too, because you've had Uranus in here for a really long time. But with Venus being the ruler of this house, that could also be activated. So again, if something comes into the forefront, I wouldn't recommend to push it back down. Work with a healer, work with a counselor, get the medical attention that you need or whatever it is. I'm not saying all these medical things are going to come out of the blue, but if anything comes up to the surface at this time, it's asking you to acknowledge it, to heal it in some way, shape, or form, and let it go. You know, you could be carrying along these connections to the past that you're not even aware of until you start working with a practitioner that works on the body or the mind or whatever the case may be, Gemini. So things like that might be coming up. 12th house is also about letting go. Focus on letting things go in order to welcome in the new, Gemini. And this is also maybe a time where things are going to come up about spirituality, spiritual growth, dreams, solitude, awakenings. Also, awakenings on multiple levels. By the way, we don't just have one awakening and we're done. No, we usually have multiple awakenings in our lifetime. Of course, depending on what area of life we're talking about. 12th house could activate things from past lifetimes that you never even knew you were carrying with you, connections to the past. This is also the house of your hidden skills, talents, and abilities, if I didn't already say that. And again, introspection here about where is your time, your energy, and your efforts being spent. Another area of life is something to do with your children. Could be coming back up or coming back around, or they could be reassessing something to do with their livelihood. You know, whether it's work or purpose or their kids or grandkids. This is also the area of grandkids. So creative projects, endeavors from the past could be coming back around too. Again, focusing on finishing up or wrapping up old projects versus buying new things or diving into brand new projects. It's best to wrap up the old before you move into the new. 5th house is also about romance and dating as well, and pleasure and having a good time, Gemini. So this is, for those of you, it could be love relationships coming back from the past. You know, I was going to say, whether you're single or not single, it doesn't matter. People come back into our lives for a reason. You definitely have a signature of old family members coming back from the past, relatives, again, siblings, friends, school colleagues, and also love, romantic partners coming back from the past as well, Gemini. Otherwise, that is about it for the houses or areas of life, Gemini, that might be activated by this transit. I'm not saying all those things are going to happen to you, but definitely I hope at least one of those things resonated with you that you can take with you throughout this transit and keep them in mind. So enjoy the Venus retrograde, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Cancer, let's talk about the Venus retrograde and what areas of life could be activated for you. So she is lighting up your 9th house, your 10th house, right at the top of your sky there, a very public part of your sky. Now she also rules your homeland, your piece of property, so to speak, Cancer. So we'll get to that. And then she also rules your 11th house of friendships as well, Cancer. So I love it that Venus has been moving through. So we'll talk about Pisces, your 9th house first. She's been moving through this area of life since January the 2nd. And I love this for you, Cancer, because she's pouring in blessings and harmony and love and beauty and affection in from this area of life, all into your Cancerian planets, placements, points, Cancer. So I love this. However, if you have anything around 24 to 29 degrees of Cancer, if you know your chart, and if you don't worry about it. This Venus is going back and forth on these planets a couple times here. So there's some sort of introspection that is being brought up to your attention. If it's your sun sign, it could be your career or your vitality or your health, or father figures or father-like figures in your life if they are still with us, or even bosses as well. If it's your moon sign, it's definitely about your home, family, foundation. It could be a mother figure in your life or a female figure in your life. And if it's your rising sign, this is about you. The health of the physical body, your vitality, and also possibly something to do with work or whatever you do of service day to day, what you're known for doing. That could be up for some introspection over the next several months. So the 9th house also represents religion, spirituality, law, higher education, teaching, long distance traveling, anything to do with international matters or foreign lands, foreign shores, foreign cultures. This is also the house of your ethics and belief systems as well, Cancer. So if you have a business that you're dealing with people all over the planet or outside of your country, this is actually really beneficial. Again, you might, some of these things that I just rambled off might be coming back around for some introspection though, or revision, or some reassessments or tweaks for that matter. Now, once Venus moves into your 10th house of Aries, this is about your career. Now, if you're not working, this would be about retirement or whatever you do on a day-to-day basis. What are you known for? Are you known for watching the grandkids? Are you known for painting houses? Are you known for, I don't know, woodworking or a mechanic or whatever the case may be, Cancer? Or some, well, Cancer, I just heard something to do with caregiver. Maybe some of you are caregivers, right? You don't work, but you're providing care to a loved one. So that will be up for some introspection. Also, the 10th house represents you as a parent or you as a boss. If you are in a position of authority or again, own a business or run a business, that could be up for some changes or introspection as well. You as a parent as well, there could be changes coming in, or again, introspection on your parenting style in some way, shape, or form. Especially if you have anything at 0 to 10 degrees of Cancer. This is where Venus is asking you to take action in some area of your life. Again, it could be a 9th house matter, a career matter, a health and vitality matter. We'll get into some other examples here. Your home, family, foundation, a friendship. Something here, Venus is helping you ask to do a gut check. What do you need to change? What do you need to revise? What do you need to revisit? Are there any relationships that you need to mend, for example, Cancer? So those are the two areas of life she's going to be going back and forth on. Now, Venus also rules your 11th house of Taurus and your 4th house of Libra, home, family, foundation. So again, something to do with the home, renovations, beautifying the home. Again, you as a parent, your parent axis is, I know I'm repeating myself here, but the parental axis is being highlighted here big time for you. So you as a parent, grandparents, your parents, if they are still with us, there could be some changes or adjustments or reassessments. The past could be coming back around at this time, Cancer, in some way, shape, or form. And if it does come up, even if it's a thought, even if it's something that comes into your conscious mind, it's coming up for a purpose. It's asking you to acknowledge it, to heal it, and let it go. You could be carrying around old ancestral patterns that you're not even aware of. You know, with Venus ruling this 4th house, the bottom of your sky, you know, there could be energetic cords that you haven't yet cut from a loved one or somebody that's maybe passed away many years ago, or a child or a parent or whatever the case may be. There's some sort of energetic connection, possibly, that could be coming back around at this time for you to heal it and let it go once and for all, Cancer. This isn't for all of you, but I'm just giving out some examples. So home life, living circumstances, living situations, something to do with property or real estate could be coming back around, or something to do with your friendship circles or older siblings, if you have older siblings. So they could be in the spotlight in some way, shape, or form, or they could be up for some revisions or restructuring in their lives, or maybe your relationship with them needs to change. You know, excellent energy for mending those relationships with older siblings or people that we haven't seen in a long time. Same with friendships. People that we haven't seen in many, many, many years could be coming back around. And again, if there's any mending or healing that you have to do around friendship circles, groups, memberships, older siblings, whatever the case may be, Cancer, this is a really nice time to mend and heal those relationships as well. 11th house is also about the future. Your long-term commitments and goals could be coming up for some review or revision at this time. 11th house is also about social media and technology and the internet. So you could be reassessing social media platforms or how you use the internet or your website if you own a business, run a business. Things like that could also be coming back around for you to, again, review, acknowledge, go back over old ground. It's best to stick with the old, like for example, revamp a website versus launching a brand new website, or learning what you already have from a, say, social media standpoint. Learn more about those platforms versus taking on more and more and more and more new software and technology that you don't have a clue about. Cancer, it's just stick with what you know during this transit, versus changing up drastic measures, especially, you know, hopping from social media to the home life. You know, for those of you that are renovating your homes or painting walls or blowing out walls or whatever the case may be, again, take a gut check here, because if you're doing drastic renovations, things could look quite different in May or June. Now, if you're in the middle of renovations, that's different. But if you start blowing out walls in your house in March and April, you might regret it in May or June. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not trying to Debbie down this energy. So again, take it slow and make sure you want to paint your walls blood red before before you paint your entire house a color, you know, that you might regret later on. You think it's amazing right now, but again, just go slow, maybe get the opinions of loved ones, and maybe, you know, plan for it, talk about it, tape a couple swatches on the wall, and then maybe move forward with it once she goes direct in April, for example. If you can wait till May, that would be better. But if you can't wait, at least, you know, take your time, or move forward with it middle of April, for example. So anyway, Cancer, those are just some examples. So hopefully you'll be able to resonate with at least one thing that I mentioned here, but otherwise this is where it comes down to your personal birth chart and how these energies and how she is impacting your chart personally. Otherwise, enjoy the Venus retrograde, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Leo, let's talk about where this Venus retrograde will be impacting possibly multiple areas of life for you. So let's break this down. She's going back and forth in your 8th house and 9th house, but she also rules your 10th house of career and your 3rd house of the mind and communication and education and travel. So Leo, let's break this down here. Now, she's been in your 8th house since January the 2nd. Now, the 8th house is a heavy house. I can't dance around the 8th house or the 12th house for that matter. So everyone will experience this differently, but I mean, you do have Saturn and Neptune here. So I have a feeling you kind of know what I'm talking about. So the 8th house can feel very heavy. It's about taxes, debts, loans. It's those mundane day-to-day big things. 8th house is also connected with our partners' finances and resources and shared assets and property as well. 8th house also rules big life changes. This is Pluto's domain. This is the house of transformation. This is also deep intimacy. So Leo, actually, this is excellent for intimacy, sex, you know, sharing that time with your partner, staying in bed all day with your partner, Leo. So the energy is definitely ripe for that, especially when Venus comes together with Neptune. Woo! Yeah, this is like rock star, exotic, escapism energy at its finest. So enjoy that, Leo, when it comes up. I think that's the first week of February. I think you'll be feeling that energy. But anyway, this is also the house of deep psychological matters, things that are buried, or things that just aren't in our conscious mind. This is also the house of fear, power, and control issues. Now, the reason why I say that is because Venus could bubble things up from the surface. And also you have Mars in your hidden 12th house as well, going retrograde. So it wouldn't surprise me, Leo, if weird things from the past bubble up from the surface, whether it's people, places, or things, or something comes into your conscious mind and you're like, where did that come from? You know, I could definitely see that type of energy over the next several months. But again, just know it's being brought up for a reason. Don't push it back down, Leo. Get it out of your body somehow. Massage, hot stone yoga, or I don't know, whatever, hot stone massage, yoga, sweatshops, whatever you call them, hot tubbing, saunas. I guess that's what I should have said. light exercise. Don't go too hard and heavy, because these are water houses. They're not fire. You are a fire sign, Leo, but I mean, your deep psyche is ruled by water houses. So again, go slow, take it slow, find a healer, a counselor, a therapist, a trusted loved one, whatever the case may be. Get it out of your body. You know, it's going to come up and face you. Acknowledge it, heal it, thank it, you know, and send it on its way and say, I don't need these energetic cords anymore. Also, the Ho'oponopono prayer is coming into my mind as well. So that might help you folks as well, only if you're interested in that. So that's just the heavy 8th house stuff that could be coming up throughout the month of January, but also throughout this transit as well. Now, once Venus pops into Aries, I think you're literally going to feel this, because she's now pouring that love and the harmony and the blessings and the attraction and the money from your 9th house into your Leo placements. And this is going to be like almost, if you have anything in Sag, I was going to say this is like a fire trine for you. But anyway, nice energy pouring into if you have anything around 0 to 10 degrees. But again, this is still something that's coming back up for you to review, reassess, acknowledge, whatever the case may be. If your sun sign is between 0 and 10, this is something to do with your career or father figures in your life or bosses in your life. If it's your rising sign, this could be about relationships, about you, about your identity, about the health of your body. If it's your moon sign, this is something to do with home, family, foundation, ancestry, or mom or female figures in your life, Leo, just to give you some examples. Now, the 9th house is also a packed house. It's about religion, spirituality, law, the legal system, higher education, teaching, long distance travel, ethics, belief systems, anything to do with foreign lands, foreign cultures, any international matters. So citizenships, passports, visas, things like that, paperwork, stuff like that could be up for some reassessment at this time. Leo, if you work on a global scale, or if you have a business or an internet site or an internet shop or whatever that's global, this could be expanding your business, because the 9th house is all about reaching a higher, wider audience. And at the end of the day, it is Venus, and she is making a trine into your Leo planet's placements points. At some point, she'll be going through the entire sign. So even if you don't have a Leo sun or rising until the later degrees of Leo, it doesn't matter. You'll still feel this energy, and this area of life will still be up for some introspection. It's just that you won't maybe get the blessings until, or the opportunities until May of 2025, or maybe you start engaging with it now or talking about it now. I just heard a sponsor, something about sponsoring or something like that. But you could talk about it now, and then maybe it'll come to manifestation in May, for example. So, because at the end of the day, like I said, this is Venus. This is not a heavier transit like Saturn or Neptune or Uranus or Pluto, for that matter. Okay, so that's the 2 areas of life, Leo, that she's going to be going back and forth with. So I know that was a lot. Now I'm going to add to that, because again, everybody is going to experience this energy different. She also rules your 10th house and your 3rd house. So career stuff could be coming up at this point. Opportunities from the past could be coming back around from a career standpoint, from a parenting or a parenthood standpoint. What does parenting or parenthood mean to you, Leo? If you are a parent, this could also be something to do with mom, dad, authority figures in your life, or changes in your relationship to parents, or what does that mean, or what does that look like? This is also the legacy that you leave behind. Venus is part of that. So if you're not working, again, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind, or what do you want to be known for? This is Venus bringing up some introspection in this area of life as well. And then she rules another busy area of life for you, Leo. So this is all about your 3rd house. So this is the mind, communication. This is how you process information. This is about transportation or how you get around. Also another travel house, siblings, cousins, neighbors. relatives, extended family members, your community, your local environment, your local neighborhood, social media, the internet, and as I mentioned, short or long distance travel could be impacted here because she's lighting up both axes there. So Leo, I know that's a lot. I know I rambled off a lot, but again, these are just examples. I'm not saying all of this is going to happen for you, but I'm just trying to provide some examples to give you an idea of what to expect over the next 3.5 months. This is a classic transit of, you know, relatives coming out of the blue, people that you haven't talked to in a long time, old neighbors, old neighborhoods, going back to old neighborhoods, whatever that, going back to roots, ancestry, things like that could be coming back around. Really great time to mend or heal those relationships too. If you have any conflicts with your siblings, cousins, relatives, mom, dad, authority figures, bosses, really nice time, Leo, to mend those relationships because they are going to be more receptive and you will be more receptive as well. So this is really nice energy coming in to mend those rifts, even if it's with a neighbor. You know, maybe offer a peacekeeping, you know, bring them over some chocolates or some baked goods or a bottle of wine or whatever, and, you know, mend that relationship. I think you'd be quite surprised how receptive people are during this Venus retrograde. So Leo, I hope that helped. I hope that gave you some insights as to what to expect to review and revise over the next 3.5 months. And we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Virgo, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and what areas of life could be impacted by this 3.5 month transit. So let's start with the houses that she is moving back and forth in. So your 7th house and 8th house is definitely highlighted. So we'll get to that. But she also rules your 9th house and your 2nd house as well. So 4 areas of life here could possibly be up for some reassessments, readjustments, just going over old ground, quite frankly. So Virgo, let's start with that 7th house because she has been here since January the 2nd, highlighting and bringing in sweetness, I hope. Wherever Venus goes, she's the great attractor. So she brings in love and money and beauty and blessings and sugar and sweets and everything nice. And relationships too. You know, she can definitely bring in incredible relationships for those of you that are single. So she's been trucking along through here. However, she will be backtracking 24 to 29 degrees of Pisces. So something to do with how you relate one-on-one to people will be up for some review and some revision. Perhaps even a marital contract or agreement, or perhaps even a work contract or agreement, Virgo. Again, apply this to your life. I'm not saying all of you are going to get divorced, so please don't take it that way. Not all of us can be married, but something to do with marriage or commitment could be coming up around at this time as well. Venus moving through the 7th house usually can bring in a committed partner, but that's only if your descendant is here and if another big heavy hitter is aspecting your descendant, such as Jupiter and Saturn. Those 2 planets bring in promising relationships as well. But all in all, this is usually a nice transit for your relationships. But when she backs up into this sign, that's when there's going to be kind of an introspection happening. So pay attention to what happens in January. I feel like you could be picking up old ground in April of 2025 when this energy comes back into your opposite sign. Now, if you have anything around 24 to 29 degrees of Virgo, this is going to add an additional layer. Now, oppositions usually mean manifestation, or they could just mean a rebalancing of the 2 planets that are being aspected. So it really depends on what planet we're talking about. If it's your sun, something to do with your career or father-like figures in your life or authority figures in your life, a rebalancing here or a reassessment here. If it's your moon, it's something to do with your home, family, foundation that needs to be reassessed at this time, or female figures in your life or mother figures in your life. If it's your rising sign, again, this would be your descendant. So something to do with partnerships, whether this is in love or business or friends or family or whoever you are in bed with, metaphorically or quite literally, could be up for some review and reassessments at this time, Virgo. Now, once she moves into your 8th house of Aries, the energy is definitely going to change. 8th house is all about psychological matters. Fear, power, control issues could be coming up to the surface during this transit. This is the house of Pluto's domain. So this is big life transformation and change. This is also a mundane house with expenses like taxes, debts, loans, shared finances, shared resources, shared property, inheritance, anything you share with another person, whether this is in love or business or family or relatives or friends or whatever the case may be. Also a very intimate house as well, Virgo. This can be incredible for your sex life. I'm just going to put it out there. So, I mean, you could spend all day in bed with your partner, get to know your partner all over again. Whether you're connected with someone or not, you could definitely attract in a sexual partner during this time. But if you watched the beginning part of my video, I would just recommend Virgo take it slow, because that person might look quite different than what you hoped for or anticipated, for that matter. I don't mean physically, I mean more so on a connection level, and also their true colors might come out May, June timeframe. So take it slow. That would be my recommendation. So don't get married just yet, Virgo, unless you want to, unless you want to. And I'm talking about new relationships, not old relationships. If you've been planning a wedding for a year now and it just happens to be between March and April, it should be fine. I actually know a lot of people that got married while Mars was retrograde and Venus was retrograde, and they're fine. Yeah, they're absolutely fine. So I'm just talking about those new people that come into your life around this time. So that is the 8th house. As you can tell, very heavy. As I mentioned earlier, anything that bubbles up to the conscious mind from the subconscious, it's being brought up for a reason, or it's bubbling up for a reason. I wouldn't recommend to push it back down, Virgo. I would recommend to face it, acknowledge it, heal it, and let it go. I know that's easier said than done. But when I say heal it, everybody has a different way of healing, right? Whether this is I don't recommend hitting the bottle or intoxicating yourself with like substances. I just would ask, get a healer, a medical advisor, a trusted friend, a trusted loved one to help you work through these emotions. Because also when Venus backs into Pisces, she's going to hit Neptune, which is very escapism type of behaviors. So just be mindful of that, Virgo. I'm not going to dwell on that, but I can't ignore an 8th house transit, especially a retrograde in the 8th house. It can be quite intense. Some of you might feel this and some of you won't. It just depends on how this is hitting your chart personally, and if it's going to bring up anything from the past. Because again, Venus can bring up partnerships from the past as well. Okay, Venus also rules your 9th house. So I'm going to add in some more information or additional layers here for you, Virgo. So hopefully I didn't lose you. I know these are a lot of examples, but I'm just trying to give you some information to work with, and hopefully at least one of these things that I ramble off resonates with you. 9th house, religion, legal matters, spirituality, higher education, teaching, mentoring, coaching, long distance traveling, ethics, belief systems, dealing with foreign lands, foreign cultures, anything to do with international matters. This is pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And this is also the house of writing and publishing as well, Virgo. So some of those things might be coming back around for some introspection as well, because she does rule your 9th house. Let's see here. She also rules your 2nd house. 2nd house is pretty straightforward. So this is about money, work, finances, income, your values, how you earn a living, material possessions, things that belong to you. Now, if you're not working, how does money come to you? Like, how do you pay your bills? How do you pay for food on your table or clothing on your back? Like, do you get it from the government or alimony or from a spouse or a parent or something along those lines? that could also be up for some introspection over the next 3.5 months as well, Virgo. So I hope that gave you kind of some ideas to think about of what might be coming up for you over the next 3.5 months. And again, apply this to your chart. If you know your personal birth chart, take what resonates, leave the rest, Virgo. And otherwise, enjoy this transit, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Libra, welcome to your Venus retrograde, and this is your ruling planet, Libra. So let's talk about the areas of life that she may be activating for you over the next 3.5 months. So your 6th house, your 7th house is where she's going to be moving back and forth in, and she also rules your 8th house and your 1st house. So I'm pretty confident to say, I think a lot of you will feel this more than others. You and Taurus, this is your ruling planet. So when the ruling planet goes retrograde, usually those folks, especially a personal planet, feel it more than other people. But again, depends on what you are watching for. Okay, let's start with that 6th house. She has been in here since January the 2nd when she moved into this area of life. So Venus would have helped soothe things over in this area of life. So this is about work. This is about being of service. So if you don't work, what does your day-to-day look like? How are you being of service? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind? What do you want to be known for? So this is your day-to-day duty and responsibility, and running the kids here and running the kids there. And this is also the house of pets and animals and your health and well-being as well, of the physical body. It could also be of the mental logical aspect of the mind as well, which we'll get into when I chat about the 8th house. So something in this area of life is coming up for some revision, review, introspection, whatever the case may be. Again, apply this to your life, to your circumstances. This could also be about changes in your workplace, whether you own a business, run a business, or work for an employer. This could be changes in the local environment. This could be people coming or going. If you own a business or run a business, this is a great time to advertise and find the right people to work for you as well. The retrograde could be tricky, so I would say do it sooner than later, but this energy will pick back up in May of 2025 when she does go direct here. So again, if you are looking for the right people to work for you or work with you, or even work on your home, like contractors and things like that, really great time to do that when Venus is in the 6th house. Now, once she pops into your 7th house of relationships, this is going to oppose your energy, Libra. So if you know your chart, anything from 0 to 10 degrees, you'll feel this the most, but at some point you'll feel this regardless, because she's going to be cruising through Aries at some point once she's done this retrograde. So depends on what you're watching for. If it's your sun sign, this could be, oppositions are usually a manifestation or a reassessment or rebalancing of sorts. So if it's your sun sign, this is your career. This is your vitality. Again, your health and well-being. This could be about father figures or male figures in your life. A rebalancing might be taking place here. If it's your rising sign, this is hitting your descendant dead on. So this is about relationships. This is about marriage, contracts, agreements, negotiations, whether in love or business or friendships or family. Whoever you're in bed with, quite literally or metaphorically, so to speak, Libra. If it's your moon sign, this is about your home, your living circumstances, your living space, your living place of living, your home, the structures of your home. Also, motherly figures or female figures in your life, just to give you a few examples. Now, once she's cruising through the 7th house, as I mentioned, it's all about relationships. It's all about how you relate one-on-one to these individuals. That could be coming up for some revision, review, any sort of contracts, agreements, negotiations. If you have to sign anything on the dotted line, including marriage, please make sure you know what you're signing. Clarify, ask questions, because it could cause some headaches down the road. This isn't the end all be all. This isn't like someone's going to die. It just means it might cause some revision down the road, something that you might have missed, especially if you are signing on the dotted line when she's retrograde. So that's specifically in March and April. But this is more about your connections, Libra, and how you relate one-on-one to individuals. So just keep that in mind during this transit. And now to add some more layers to this for you, Libra, she also rules, like I mentioned, your 8th house and your 1st house. So 8th house, psychological matters, as I kind of alluded to before. This could be things bubbling up from the past or out of the subconscious mind into the conscious mind. Your day-to-day stuff might be bubbling up to the surface, and things might come into your mind that you haven't thought about in years. Like, these are 8-year cycles, remember. Think back to 2017. Was there anything that happened during that time frame? And you could even keep going backwards by 8 years, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So I'm not saying the exact same things are going to happen, but it is some sort of pattern that we're seeing in this lifetime, in particular during this retrograde. So anything that comes up, any fear, power, or control issues that come up, do not stuff them back down, Libra. Find a healer, a counselor, a mentor, a coach to work through this energy with you. Maybe it's just getting a massage. Maybe it's doing some exercising, some light exercising. Don't go too hard, too heavy, too fast. That would be my recommendation. Go easy, pamper yourself, but take it easy and stick to what you know. Libra would be my recommendation. But somehow move this energy out of your body, acknowledge it, even if it's just talking it through somebody, or paint, or artwork, or color, or music, or things like that, poetry. Try to get it, move it out of your body. 8th house is also mundane day-to-day stuff. So you might have to redo, revise, reassess anything to do with financial circumstances or situations. Taxes, debts, loans. This is also shared assets, shared property. Anything that you share with another person could be up for, again, some review, some revision, whatever the case may be. I'm going to throw it out there for those of you going through divorces. This energy actually supports that because it'll give you both time to separate the assets equally. And then by the time she goes retro or direct, I mean, it should be, or maybe by the time she hops into your 8th house, it should be free and clear and gone, and you've separated the assets. Don't panic. If you're in a happy relationship, it's fine. I'm just talking about those of you that are actively maybe going through a divorce or a business separation. Maybe you're selling off assets or something like that. 8th house matters. This is a prime example of these sorts of things coming up to the surface at this time. This could also be about intimacy and sexuality and having that fancy time with your partner, so to speak, Libra. That could be up for some review and revision as well. Now, lastly, she rules you. So I hope you watched the beginning part of the video. I talked about cosmetic procedures, tattoos, piercings, going under the knife, wardrobe changes. I would strongly recommend you take that slow, Libra. Now, again, stick with what you know. So again, if you've had Botox religiously every 6 months, you should be okay, but I would still caution against that. Like, make sure it's the same technician. Make sure they know what they're doing. If anything seems out of whack, stop it and say, you know what, I'll come back another time. Because again, things can still go sideways when Venus is retrograde, because at the end of the day, she rules all these areas of life, Libra. Also, what's coming in for you too is something to do with sharing finances and resources with a new partner. I would go slow with that as well, whether that's in love or business or family or friends. If they want you to invest in their business or give them a bunch of money or go 50-50 on a property or something like that, again, I would recommend to go slow and make sure you read the fine print, Libra, because you want to be really cautious during this time, because this is your ruler. So I feel like out of all the signs, you and Taurus, this could really scramble things for you. Again, not the end of the world. It's Venus. You'll fix them. It's just going to cause some headaches for you the middle of the year. That's all. So Libra, I hope that helped. I hope that gave you some idea of what you can expect over the next 3.5 months. So we will see you in the next video. Enjoy the transit. Bye for now. Hey Scorpio, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and what areas of life may be impacted by this for you. And yeah, keep in mind, Scorpio, your ruling planet Mars is also still retrograde. So this is really interesting. We have all these personal planet retrogrades. But anyway, you are not ruled by Venus, but let's talk about it. So Venus is activating your 5th house, your 6th house. This is where she's going to go back and forth. Plus she rules your 7th house of relationships and also your hidden 12th house as well. So Scorpio, let's break this down house by house. So she's been in your 5th house. Actually, lucky you, this is really beneficial for you, because over the past month of January, she's been pouring blessings into your sign since January the 2nd. Now, she's going to go backwards in here, just a short stint. Now, if you have, let me see here, if you have anything around 24 to 29 degrees of Scorpio, you might feel this more than others. Again, this is where your personal birth chart comes in. But if you have like your sun, your moon, your rising around these degree points, it just means there's going to be some reassessments coming up in these areas of life. So if it's your sun, it's your career or father-like figures in your life, or your vitality, your health. But again, this is a trine coming from Venus. So I mean, it's a lot, you know, this could be good news, for example, coming in about your health, your well-being, your career, good news coming in for father or father-like figures. If it's your moon, this is about your home, family, foundation, your place of living, also mother or mom-like figures in your life as well. And if it's your rising sign, this is all about you, your physical appearance, your identity, and it could also be making an aspect to your descendant as well. So this could also be about relationships. Venus rules your relationship house anyway. But anyway, just to give you kind of some examples there, if your sun, moon, or rising fall between 24 to 29 degrees, she's going to be going back and forth in this area of life. So let's talk about the 5th house though. This is all about kids. This is all about grandkids. This is love affairs. This is romance. This is dating. This is sexuality. This is creative projects, hobbies, endeavors. This is the house of entertainment, of gambling, of fun, joy. This is the house, Scorpio, that lifts you up and lights you up from the inside out. So this is a really nice transit for you, Scorpio, I must say. But again, I don't want to ignore the retrograde. Retrogrades mean that there's something that we're reassessing, something that needs to be brought to our attention. Now, again, in your case, could be about a child, could be about a creative project. It could be about going back to a creative project. If you watch the beginning of my video, this is all about going back to the old. What works, you know, what works. Anything new, I wouldn't recommend to go full bore at. Scorpio, I would wait. I would highly encourage you to wait. This is also the house of romance and dating. So if any of you start dating somebody new, especially in February, March, or April, again, go slow because the relationship might change and shift, especially come May or June in the middle of the year. Things might look a little bit different. If somebody does come in at this time, I can see that it might get hot and heavy really fast, which is totally fine. This is the house. This is one of the houses of sex and pleasure. And, you know, especially, oh my God, especially when she backs into Neptune there. Oh, it's going to be full on Scorpio, like escapism at its finest. You're going to love it. It's like rock and roll energy. It's like getting caught up in love or sex or smoking or drinking or eating, or I don't know, pick your poison, pick your pleasure, Scorpio. So not a bad thing as long as you know when to cut it, you know, when to stop. Which it's not going to go on forever, because once Venus moves away from this transit, reality will set in at some point, Scorpio. So Anyway, so that's your 5th house. Again, very nice energy coming in for you. Now, when she pops into your 6th house of Aries, this is where it's going to change a little bit. This is where it actually could get quite busy. So this is the house of work. This is the house of service. So if you're not working, how are you being of service? How are you contributing to society? This is about duty and responsibility. So like I said, reality checks could be coming in, Scorpio, when Venus pulls away from Neptune and hops into this sign. This is also the house of health and well-being and diet and nutrition. This is also the house of animals as well. So they might need some extra attention, or again, going back over old ground in this area of life. This is also your habits. Try not to pick up any dirty habits there, Scorpio, because that is a possibility with Venus in this 6th house. Because again, she's all about love and romance and getting caught up in pleasure and fun and sugar and sweets and treats and oh my God. Yeah. So just be mindful of that. This isn't a horrible transit. It's just going back over old ground. You're reassessing something in this 6th house, or like I said, that 5th house area of life for you. Okay, now I hope I didn't lose you, but I'm also now going to talk about the areas of life that she rules, Scorpio. So if all that I nattered off doesn't resonate with you, maybe one of these things might come up for some introspection. She rules your 7th house, like I mentioned. This is all about how you relate to other people, your relationship with other people, mending relationships with other people. Excellent time to do that, whether this is in love, work, business, family, friends, relatives, it doesn't matter. Anyone that you're connected with, because Venus retrograde makes us all more receptive to rekindling, to mending those relationships. Did I mention, Scorpio? Could also be relationships coming back from the past. Okay, now because this is your 5th house, sorry, I'm jumping around here. When she's in Pisces, I'm talking about this could be old love relationships coming back from the past. So I just want to throw that out there. I apologize if I already said that. Anyway, back to your 7th house. This is about contracts, agreements, and negotiations. So maybe reassessing those at this time. If you have to sign on the dotted line, Scorpio, with anything, new job, marriage, any sort of legal matters, please double, triple check everything. If you can avoid doing that during March and April, that would be best, but I get it. Life doesn't stop when these planets go retrograde. It just means if you miss something now, not the end of the world. You'll just have to, it'll come to light at some point, you know, maybe when she transits through Taurus. You know, it'll come to your attention at some point, and then that way there you can correct it and fix it. So again, if you meet somebody new and you're hot and heavy and they want to move in with you, they want to elope to Las Vegas, they want to do this, they want to do that. If I were you, I'd pump the brakes. That would be my recommendation, but you do you, Scorpio. If you have the means to do so, have fun, cut loose, but just know all of these things that you purchase and the people that you start dating and sleeping with and all that fun stuff, I know, all the fun stuff, they might look different. Situations might look different. People, places, and things and material possessions might look different. Dare I say, you might regret some purchases or people or places or things once May, June timeframe comes around. So just something to think about. Venus also rules your hidden 12th house. Some of you might feel this, some of you won't, but this is all about secrets. Maybe some secrets could be coming to light, whether yours or somebody else. This is about solitude. This is about spirituality. This is anything that's hidden. This is wrapping up loose ends. Again, going back over old ground so you can wrap things up in a pretty little bow, so to speak, and then take on something new, especially once Venus goes direct. She can also bring something to the forefront in your conscious mind from the subconscious and shed light on it. Like something might pop into your mind from the past, maybe from your childhood, and you might say, well, where the heck did that just come from? That's Venus bringing up the past for you to look at, review, acknowledge it, heal it, and let it go for once and for all, so you do not have to carry this baggage with you when she goes direct. So that is the blessing when these planets go retrograde. Things coming back from the past are meant to be healed, acknowledged. Even people, you know, sometimes people come back around from the past just so we can acknowledge that relationship, learn or heed the lesson, understand the patterns that we get ourselves in, and then we can cut and sever and move away from that. So anyway, Scorpio, I hope that helped. I hope at least one thing I nattered off or mentioned resonates with you. Otherwise, enjoy this transit, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey, Sagittarius, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and what areas of life could be impacted for you. So she is lighting up your 4th house, your 5th house. So we'll talk about that. But she also rules your 6th house and your 11th house as well. So I'm going to integrate some examples that you might see as well bubble up to the surface over the next 3.5 months. So let's start with your 4th house, Sag. This is all about home, family, foundation, place of living, renovations, beautifying your space. So she has been here since January 2nd, cruising along this area of life. But when she backtracks in this area of life, specifically 24 to 29 degrees, especially if you have anything from 24 to 29 degrees of Sag, this will impact you more than others. This is where your birth chart comes into play, if you know it. And if you don't, that's okay. I'm still going to natter about it. She's asking you to go over old ground. So this could be, again, something to do with family, home, living circumstances, living situation, mom, dad, authority figures in your life. If you work from home, that could be coming up for some introspection. If you work with homes or for homes or beautifying homes, that could be up for some review, revision, reassessment at this time. Also, you as a parent. Did I say that already? You as a parent and what parenthood or what parenting means to you could be up for some review, revision as well. Any rifts or tiffs you have with family members, Sag, really nice time when Venus goes retrograde to mend those relationships, mend those connections at this time as well. So that's the 4th house. Now, when she pops into your 5th house, this is really nice energy for you, Sag. I think you're going to love this. This is going to light you up because she's hopping into a fellow fire sign and she's pouring in harmonious energy into your planet's placements points. In particular, if you have anything from 0 to 10 degrees, she's going to be going back and forth over old ground here. So again, if it's your sun sign, this is where it depends on what you're watching for. If it's your sun sign, it's your career or father-like figures in your life or your health and vitality. If it's your rising sign, it could be about relationships, marriage, contracts, agreements, negotiations. Also, how you present yourself to the world, what you are known for. It's the lens, it's the glasses you wear, how you see life from your point of view, your lens, your perspective. If it's your moon sign, this is, like we mentioned, home, family, foundation, mother or motherly like figures in your life as well. So just to kind of give you some examples there. Now, the 5th house is all about children or grandchildren, if you have any. So again, they could be reassessing something in their lives, for example, and you could be witnessing it or you could be there supporting them through these changes or introspection or whatever the case may be. 5th house is one of my favorite houses. This is all about joy and pleasure and sexuality and romance and dating. This is the house that lights you up, Sag, from the inside out. This is childlike behavior. Things from the past, though, could bubble up here as well, from your childhood, from your past. Old hobbies, old obsessions that you had could also come back around. If you watch the beginning of this video, focus is more so, I recommend, to be on the old, like polishing up the old versus buying or taking on something brand new. If you're open to meeting someone new, and if you do meet someone new during this transit, that's totally fine. I would just recommend to go slow, because the relationship could get hot and heavy very fast, Sag, for you, which is great. You do you, but it could fizzle out just as fast, or this person might not be who you thought they were once Venus comes out of retrograde and shadow. I would wait until May, June before doing anything big, like starting to share bank accounts or moving in together or eloping and getting married somewhere. I would pump the brakes on that, especially if they are pressuring you to do so. That's a red flag for me, Sag, but hey, I'm not here to preach. I'm not your mother. So you do you. I'm just bringing up some examples of possibilities of what could be coming down the pipe for you for this retrograde, which is all about reassessments, revisions, redoing something in at least one area of life. Now, if that's not enough, Sag, I'm going to throw more examples at you. So I apologize if this confuses you, but she also rules your 6th house and your 11th house. So what's the 6th house? This is a heavy house too. This is the house of being of service. So what do you do on a day-to-day basis? This also rules your work. If you do work, if you don't work, how do you contribute to society? What do you do on a day-to-day basis? You know, do you babysit? Do you paint houses? Do you build decks? Are you a driver? Whatever the case may be. So that could be coming up for some review, reassessments. The workplace, something to do with the workplace could change. The atmosphere, the environment, people coming and going could be a possibility. If you own a business, run a business, this could be about the people that work for you as well. There could be changes. There could be people resigning, but then I have the utmost confidence that you'll find the right people to work for you, especially when she goes direct and especially when she hops into Taurus. This would be the prime time to find the right contractor, to find the right people to work for you. Again, if you're a manager or if you own a business or run a business. 6th house is also about diet and routine, health and exercise. So how are you taking care of the body, Sag? You know, going back to an old diet, an old routine, an old exercise regime probably is better than taking on something brand new. But again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to kind of give you some examples. So some of that could be up for some review and reassessments over the next 3.5 months. Now, if that's not enough, I know, she also rules your 11th house of friendship circles, groups, people that you hang out with, people that you surround yourself with. This is also your role with these groups as well. This is also about older siblings. This could be reconnecting with siblings or family members or relatives that you have not seen in a very long time. Again, really nice time to reconnect with people from the past as well. 11th house is your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your long-term commitments and goals as well. So that could be up for some review or introspection. And 11th house is also social media or the internet. So again, you might be reassessing platforms you use or maybe trying to get something off the ground. Not the best time for big launches, like if you want to launch a website, a YouTube channel, some sort of social media presence. Great time to work on it, review, revise if you already have those going on. But if you want to launch anything, I would recommend to wait until middle of 2025 when Mars is direct and Venus is direct. I think that's going to help you out a lot, Sag. But again, if you got to launch something, you got to launch something. I get it. The sky will never be perfect for launches, let me tell you. Because I get it. The world doesn't stop when these planets go retrograde. So, Sag, I hope that kind of helps. I hope that gives you at least one breadcrumb or one nugget of information that resonates with you that you can take with and think about for the next 3.5 months of something that could be coming back around or resurface in some way, shape, or form. So, Sag, enjoy the transit and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Capricorn, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and what areas of life could be coming up at this time or being activated at this time. So Capricorn, this retrograde is happening in your 4th house and your 3rd house. So we'll talk about that. But Venus also rules your 10th house of career and your 5th house of romance and dating and self-expression, Capricorn. So let's dive in. Let's start with that 3rd house, where she's been trucking along since January the 2nd, infusing this area of life with love and hope and harmony and blessings and all the goodies of life, Capricorn. I hope she's been bringing you blessings in this area of life. So 3rd house, what does this mean when she goes backwards in this house? So some things that could be up for review or reassessments or revising in some way, shape, or form. 3rd house is very busy. It's about the mind. It's how we process information. It's communications, text messages, emails, writing, book publishing, things like that, transportation, or how we get around. This is also the house of siblings, cousins, neighbors, extended family members, your local community, your local environment. Also the house of social media, the internet, and short distance traveling. So Capricorn, you could be traveling to places that you've known before, not anywhere new, but revisiting the old, so to speak, going back to an old childhood home, or visiting with relatives or family members or siblings that you have not seen in a long time would be pretty classic with Venus running through this 3rd house backwards. But again, it should be very nice energy, really nice energy, Capricorn, to rekindle those relationships, whether it's with neighbors or something to do with the neighborhood, or again, mending those relationships with siblings, cousins, relatives, extended family members, Capricorn. So I love this energy from that perspective. Now, once she hops into your 4th house, this is all about family, home, roots, foundation, property. This is the past. So yes, this could be the past coming back around. Dare I say to haunt you, but I mean, this is Venus after all. This isn't Pluto. You've already gone through Pluto with your 12th house. So you will, you know about that. Nothing will scare you once Pluto's gone through the 12th house, which was many years ago, by the way. I know he's in your 2nd house, but I'm just saying that's what it reminded me of. 4th house is also about you as a parent, Capricorn, if you are a parent. 4th house is also about mother, father, or authority figures in your life as well. So something is being reassessed here, revisited. Again, you could be going back to past childhood homes, memories, neighborhoods, seeing extended family members for the first time in many, many years, or these people might come out of nowhere. You know, old neighbors that you haven't seen in forever. You might bump into them somewhere. Relatives that you haven't spoken to in a long time. They might come back up and resurface. Capricorn, this also is attachments that you have to the past. Cords, invisible cords that you have to the past. Ancestry that you've been, like baggage that you've been carrying, whether you realize it or not. If anything comes back from the past, your childhood, how you were raised, the environment you were raised in, the homes you were raised in, whatever the case may be, if anything bubbles up to the surface, just know it's meant to be healed. Well, I should say acknowledged first, healed, and then let go once and for all, Capricorn. So that's the benefits of this transit there's a reason why people come back around from our past. You know, even if it's not a thought or something coming into your conscious mind, this could be an old love relationship, or again, somebody coming back around from the past, even a family member that hurt you. This is about forgiveness for you, Capricorn, not for them, for you. This is about cutting those ties and that cord. So that's what I love about this. Because she is squaring your planets, placements, points, Capricorn, anything from 0 to 10 degrees. So if it is your moon sign, again, this is emphasizing the family, something to do with mother or motherly like figures in your life, your place of living, quite literally who you live with. If it's your sun sign, it's something to do with career, bosses, or male figures in your life, or father figures in your life. If it's your rising sign, it's something about you. How do you talk to yourself, Capricorn? Are you taking care of your mental well-being, your physical body? Are you working, 17 hours a day? Is it time to kind of like take it back? Do some self-care. This is about you, your physical appearance. What do you want to change about your physical appearance? How do you want to change the lens that you view the world and how people view you? So this does tie into your status as well. Okay, so Capricorn, that is the 3rd and 4th houses. Now, I hope I don't confuse you, but she also rules your 5th house and 10th house. So what does that mean? 5th house I love. So this is definitely maybe romantic partners coming back from the past, or you hearing from them in some way, shape, or form. This is about children or grandchildren, if you have any. This is about creative projects, creative endeavors, something that you put on the back burner. This is about going back to the old, remember, not so much picking up the new. You can definitely get those downloads and insights, but again, focus on wrapping up the old so you can take on the new once she goes direct. So the 5th house is about joy and pleasure and sex and romance and dating, Capricorn. So this can also be a very fun transit for you as well. And, it's always fun when people come back from the past. Old loves come back from the past, right, Capricorn? I'm sure you love that. And again, there's a reason for that, right? If an old lover comes back into your past, whether you're with somebody or not, there's a reason for that. Again, does the relationship need to be acknowledged and healed in some way, shape, or form? Do you need to cut that energetic tie to that person from the past, Capricorn? But I love this for creative projects, business ideas, endeavors. The 5th house is all about what lights you up from the inside out. It's where our passions lie in this area of life as well. 10th house, Capricorn, career opportunities coming back around, career opportunities coming, or I should say bosses maybe coming back from the past, making you a new offer or a different offer, which I love, Capricorn, for you, but just be mindful signing on the dotted line, okay? Similar to a Mercury retrograde or a Mars retrograde, be mindful of what you're signing up for and be mindful of what the ask is and what the payments are and what the fees are, or whatever the case may be, Capricorn. 10th house also illuminates, you're going to hear me repeat myself, mom, dad, authority figures in your life. So again, something could be coming up from the past or something regarding your parents. Maybe your parents are going through something. I don't mean something bad. I just mean you could be helping them or supporting them in some way, shape, or form as well. This is your 10th house is your reputation, what you're known for. That could be coming up for some review or reassessments at this time as well. 10th house is also about Capricorn. What is the legacy you want to leave behind? What does that mean for you? Whether you're working or not, I don't care. Apply this to your life, Capricorn, because we all have something that we want to leave behind. We all have something that we want to be known for. Again, if this rings true to you. So Capricorn, I hope that gave you a bunch of examples to think about. Like I said, not everything that I talk about is going to happen to you. At the end of the day, this is a Venus transit. It's not a Saturn or a Pluto transit. You know well and well through and through what a Pluto transit is. So at the end of the day, it is Venus, but there's clearly something that needs to be revisited, re-looked at, reassessed, or picked back up again. Again, polish that old penny and make it new before moving into a new hobby or project or whatever the case may be, Capricorn. Otherwise, enjoy this transit and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Aquarius, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and what areas of life are lighting up for you and being brought up for some introspection, some revision, some reassessment, and you name it. So Aquarius, Venus is going back and forth in your 3rd house and 2nd house. So we'll talk about that. And she also rules your 4th house of home, family, foundation, and also your 9th house as well of higher education, teaching, and traveling, Aquarius. So let's break this down. Now, Venus has been in your 2nd house, lucky you, since January 2nd, beginning of the year. And usually wherever Venus goes, she brings in love, money, beauty, harmony, attraction, all that good stuff. This is a money house for you, Aquarius. So lucky, lucky you. I hope Venus has been bringing you little blessings along the way, or at least maybe some new work, some new clients, or a new way to earn money. Second house is also about like how you earn a living. So if you don't work, who pays your bills, Aquarius? Is it a mom? Is it a dad? Is it an authority figure? Is it a loved one? Is it your spouse? Is it your partner? Like, who pays the bills? How does money flow into your pockets, for example? Could be from the government. It could be from spousal support, whatever the case may be. So Aquarius, this area of life is going to be up for some introspection, some revision, some review. Now, one thing that popped into my mind right away, Aquarius, for those of you looking for work, work could definitely be coming back around, especially with not only Venus backing in here, but Mars as well. And Mars rules your 10th house of career, and he's even backing into your 6th house of work. So Aquarius, if you are looking for new work or looking for a new client base or looking for a new way to be of service in some way, shape, or form, could be full on during this retrograde, because you have two power planets, two personal planets, I should say, backing you with this retrograde. So I love this for you, Aquarius. If you're in a business of spirituality, metaphysical stuff, astrology, tarot, woo-woo stuff like I do, very beneficial for you at this time as well. More so, again, about the old coming back around, like old clients, old connections, versus, you know, endeavoring about something new, like advertising or something like that. This is about people, places, things coming back around from the past, Aquarius. Second house is also material possessions. So again, I hope you watched the first part of my video, Aquarius, where I talked about watch out for craving big ticket items. Okay, so because Venus here is going to want to make you spend money. I want to be very honest and upfront. Venus or Mars cruising through the second house, we want to buy, buy, buy. So I do ask you to, you know, just be aware of that. Just be mindful of that. Because again, if you have the means to do so, knock yourself out. But if you don't, just be mindful of what you're purchasing at this time. Okay, once she pops into your third house, this is a very busy house. This is about the mind, communication, how you digest information. So text messages, publishing, reading, writing. This is transportation as well, or however it is that you get around. This is the house of siblings, cousins, neighbors, relatives, extended family members. Your local environment, your local community lies in the third house as well. This is also the house of social media and the internet and short distance traveling. Although long distance traveling is also being activated here, which I'll get to in a second. So Aquarius, again, you're revising something here. You're going back over old ground. If you have anything in Aquarius between 0 and 10 degrees, Venus is going to be bringing in opportunities, possibly from the past, from your third house. Now, this could also be, I think I forgot to mention the second house. Sorry, I'm backing up here. The second house is also about your skills, your talents, your abilities. So you could be going back to school or brushing up on something, a course that maybe you bought quite some time ago, and then now you're finally getting around to doing it, for example. I thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, if you have anything from 0 to 10 degrees, Venus will be bringing back blessings from the past. So again, this could be blessings or benefits coming back around regarding a sibling, a cousin, a neighbor, a book publisher, something to do with social media or the internet. Now, where this adds an additional layer is what we're talking about. Is it your sun that's between 0 and 10? Is it your rising? Is it your moon? If it's your moon, it's something to do with home, family, foundation, your living circumstances, mother, father, authority figures in your life. If it's your sun, something to do with your career or your vitality and health. If it's your rising sign, it could be about relationships, how you relate one-on-one to people. And also it's the lens or the glasses we wear and how we view life and how people view us could be up for some change or revision at this time, Aquarius. Really nice time to reconnect with people from your past. So again, old neighborhoods, old neighbors that you used to know, you might bump into them, relatives, extended family members, siblings. If there's any rifts or tiffs with any of these people, Aquarius, this is incredible energy to come back around and reconnect with those people again, because we're all going to be more receptive when Venus is retrograde. So not only you, but the person that you're trying to rekindle with, their heart will be a little bit more open, versus when all of these planets are direct, for example. So that's the 2 areas of life that she's going to highlight for you, Aquarius. Now, some other examples are, because she rules your 4th house and 9th house. So some other things that could come up is something to do with home, family, your place of living, people that you live with, mom, dad, authority figures in your life. You as a parent could be coming up for some revision, revitalization, whatever you want to call it. What does parenting mean to you? This could be your parenting style or your motivations. This could also be renovations in the home if you are renovating or looking to buy or sell. Again, if you have to sign on the dotted line with real estate or property or sharing of assets, I would be careful, Aquarius. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but just be sure you understand the agreement or contract or whatever it is that you're signing off on at this time. Because again, Venus rules this area of life. So something could go sideways, or there's just something you're not seeing. And same thing, as I mentioned, if you meet somebody new, if you do meet somebody new, they'll probably be in your local environment. But I'm also seeing the signature of they could be international as well. They could have international connections or ties as well. So again, you know, be mindful of going too fast in a relationship, especially if it's brand new, because the relationship might look different come May or June. But again, I'm not here to tell you what to do, Aquarius. You're the last sign. I know you cannot tell an Aquarian what to do. But again, I'm just here to kind of like give you some examples and possibilities of what could be coming up at this time. So that is the 4th house of possibilities that might also come up at this time. And your 9th house, she also rules your 9th house. So this is legal matters or legal battles. This is religion, spirituality. This is higher education. So again, the education and travel axes are being lit up at this time. This is about your ethics, your belief systems, anything to do with foreign lands, foreign cultures, dealing with people all over the planet, could be up for some review or introspection at this time as well, Aquarius. If you own a business, run a business where it touches the globe, people all over the world, this could be beneficial for you, but again, this could be going back over old ground, like reassessing a website, reassessing international dealings, or what is your relationship to that? What is your relationship to your clients all over the world? There could be some area of life that you have the opportunity to go over and build on something that is already existing so you can make things better when she goes direct, for example. All right, Aquarius, enjoy the Venus retrograde, and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now. Hey Pisces, let's talk about this Venus retrograde and how or what areas of life will be impacted by this. So lucky you, Venus has been in your 1st house since January 2nd, beginning of the year. Now Venus in the 1st house makes you very, very attractive, Pisces. So if you are single, I would not be surprised if you can meet somebody new during this transit, which is absolutely incredible, absolutely beautiful. Just heed my warnings that I said at the beginning of the video. Hopefully you check that out. Because, you know, things could get hot and heavy really fast in relationships, Pisces. But again, you do you. You know, with Neptune in your sign, when she bumps into Neptune, this is going to be the epitome of being intoxicated with love and romance and dating, Pisces. Or again, pick your poison, right? Like this could be food, sugar, caffeine, alcohol, the drugs, whatever, Pisces, whatever. Enjoy it while it lasts, because at some point Venus will break away and she'll bring us all a reality check. So yes, I'm sorry. I just went up with that and then down with that just as fast. Okay, Pisces. So if you have anything between 24 to 29 degrees of Pisces, you will feel this the most. And if you don't know your chart, don't worry about it. This, regardless, she's backing into your first house. So what is this all about? The first house is you. This is your identity. This is your physical appearance. This is the health and well-being of the body. This is how you're taking care of the body. This is also major life themes and cycles, because the first house technically ripples out to all areas of life. So your career, your home life, and also your relationships. So you could be up for some revision review when it comes to you and how you present yourself to the world. If it's your sun sign, this is about your career and your vitality. If it's your moon sign, this is about your home, your place of living, mother or female figures in your life. If it is your rising sign, again, this is the identity. This is the physical body, your appearance. This is how you enter the world. This is the lens you wear, how you view the world and how people view you. So all of that could be up for some change, some introspection or revision. But again, pump the brakes on any changes right now. Hold off on the piercings, the tattoos, the cosmetic procedures, Pisces. If you can wait at least until she goes direct middle of April. It would be better to wait until May, but I get it. Life does not stop when these planets go retrograde. Okay, she's going to hop into your second house. Again, really nice area of life for you, Pisces, and this is where she's going to be going back and forth, 0 to 10 degrees specifically of Aries. So again, check your chart. If you have anything around 0 to 10 degrees of Aries, this is where she'll be going back and forth. Venus in the second house is beautiful. This is about work, money, finances, resources, material possessions. This is also about your skills, your talents, your abilities. So maybe revising or reassessing that, or reassessing work, or again, work coming back around from the past. If you do not work, well then how do you earn a living? How does money come to you? Do you live off a child? Do you live off a spouse? Do you live off, yes, there are some people that live off their kids. I've heard about it. Government checks, spousal checks, alimony. Like, how does money come to you? How does money line your pockets? How do you pay the bills, the taxes, your cell phone bill, the internet bill, all that fancy stuff, Pisces? So that could be up for some review and reassessments at this time. Now, some other areas of life I'm going to throw in here as possible examples. She also rules your third house and your eighth house. So third house is very busy. It's an education area of life. It's the mind. It's how we digest information and process information. It's also text messages and technology and the internet and social media. It's also transportation, how we get around, and it's siblings, cousins, neighbors, extended family members. This is your local community, your local environment, and also short distance trips and traveling. So some of these things, Pisces, could be coming back around. Again, relatives that you haven't seen in a long time, neighbors you haven't seen in a long time, revisiting old neighborhoods, or going back over old ground and seeing old friends, siblings, people that you haven't seen in a long time. If there's any difficult relationships that you have with people, again, neighbors, neighborhood, siblings, cousins, relatives, now is a nice time to mend those relationships, Pisces, because Venus makes us more receptive to mending those bonds, you know, and those connections with people from our past. People could be coming back around from the past, old neighbors, again, relatives, people you haven't seen in a long time. People could be coming back from the past and reconnecting with you in some way, shape, or form. Revising how you use social media, revising internet sites. If you have any, Pisces, it's best to stick with the old versus buying something new unless you absolutely have to. Like if you absolutely have to upgrade your vehicle or however it is that you get around, or that laptop or that phone, just make sure you understand the fine print. Maybe buy extended warranty if you can, or at least hang on to your receipts with any sort of purchases, because again, she rules this area of life. So sometimes things happen. Sometimes retrogrades force us to purchase things and finally kind of tap us over the edge. Like, okay, we finally have to break down and buy a new phone or buy a new laptop or buy a new vehicle. So it's not the end of the world. But again, when it's retrograde, there's usually something that we're not seeing, Pisces. So if you have to sign on the dotted line with anything, because the third house is also paperwork, just be cautious of what you're signing for. Like, make sure you understand the price, make sure you understand the negotiation. If you're signing a new job offer, a new contract, a new client, make sure you understand who you're getting in bed with. This could be literally or metaphorically, of course, Pisces. Just double, triple check everything, okay? This is not a doom and gloom transit. At the end of the day, if you miss something, big deal. It'll come to light at some point, maybe in June or sometime before the end of the year, and you fix it. It's not the end of the world, you know? It's just, it is what it is. Okay, now she also rules your 8th house, and this is a bit of a heavy house. So this is to do with psychological matters. So again, if anything is bubbling up to your conscious mind, there is a reason for that. So it is coming up to the surface to be acknowledged, to be healed, and to be let go of. The Ho'oponopono prayer is coming into my mind as I'm talking about this. So if that resonates with you, maybe look that up and embrace that. Because yeah, there could be some gunk coming up from the past, whatever that means for you, especially if this is impacting, again, home, family, relatives, your moon sign in any way, shape, or form. Again, this is backing into your first house of you. So just be mindful of that. Again, not a doom and gloom transit. The 8th house is deep. It's intense. It's the house of Pluto. So, I mean, there's no messing around in the house of Pluto. And there's a reason why these things are coming up to the surface now, so you can acknowledge them. I would just recommend don't push it down, Pisces. Face it. You know, this is also the house of fear, power, and control. Face it. You know, face the demons, face the gremlins, tackle them head on, get help from a healer, a practitioner, massage, pamper yourself, however you want to move this out of your body, and then let it go once and for all, and you will thank yourself. Your future self is already thanking yourself, Pisces. Now, the 8th house is also the mundane stuff. So taxes, debts, loans, mortgages, shared assets, shared resources. So again, this might not be about you. This might be about your partner's assets, finances, resources that need to be reassessed in some way, shape, or form. She is, though, impacting your 2nd house of finances as well. So I have no doubt there's got to be a financial angle here, Pisces. There's a reason why this is being brought up to your attention to look at. Or maybe you're meant to help a partner through this, or a family member, or a business partner, love, whatever the case may be. Again, big purchases, be mindful of. I'm just thinking property keeps coming up for you, Pisces, for some reason. I keep hearing property. So again, big ticket items, just be mindful of mixing love and big ticket items. New love, I should say, new love or new business partnerships. Be mindful of mixing that with your personal assets, finances, resources, whatever that means for you. 8th house is also sex, you know, so again, this could be great for the sex life, but again, keep in mind new relationships, right? I'm not going to go over that again, but be mindful of the people that you're getting into bed with, Pisces. The good, the bad, the ugly could be coming out of this transit, but regardless, have fun, enjoy it. This is about pleasure and relaxation and taking a step back. And again, revitalizing the old versus taking on the new. And at the end of the day, you know, we'll see the bigger picture once Venus and Mars, because Mars is also retrograde too, in your 5th house, by the way, of romance and dating. So, you know, lovers coming back around from the past, That's fine. Indulge yourself. Have a good time, Pisces. And I mean, at some point, something's going to come to light when these personal planets go direct for each and every one of us. But yeah, these two retrogrades are definitely hitting you very personally. And in the relationship sectors as well are being lit up at this time. All right, Pisces. So I hoped that helped give you some ideas. I'm not saying all of that stuff is going to be happening to you. It's just to kind of give you hopefully some nuggets of information of what to look out for during this Venus retrograde. Otherwise, enjoy the transit and we'll see you back here in the next video. Bye for now.